everybody, we're here for another Chew Chat, and today we have a very early version of chicken rice soup. But I'm waiting on Ron. He's late to dinner. He's late to supper. Where is that man? I don't know. I got the pot over the fire. Well, I'm just gonna start eating. I have it cooking in my new tin pot, which I'll talk about soon. I just bought this yesterday, so I'm still a little proud of it. And I've already tried this. It's very, very good. But I guess I do gotta keep it warm for Ron. Put the lid back on. Where is that man?
Ah, thanks for waiting. It smells delicious. Sorry, everybody. I had to use the,
Where have you been?
the outhouse.
The outhouse?
Had to make room.
Okay, well, I'm glad you made some room because I made a really nice supper today. You know, you remember the last video that we made something that wasn't very good?
Jelly rolls.
Boiled jelly rolls. But this is excellent. And finally, something we like.
I like most of it.
I like the savory dishes. The desserts are 50-50. It's kind of you and your luck.
That smells really good.
It is really good. I already tried some. It's excellent.
Well, before we go any farther, if you want to see her make this, go to Early American. That is our main YouTube channel. Over there, we cook it.
And here we eat it.
And here we eat it.
Let me serve you up.
Yes, ma'am.
A very early version of chicken rice soup. And I boiled some of the crackers in here, so it's almost like chicken and dumplings, but with rice. And not a cream sauce, but more of a water-based sauce. I'm not gonna hurt you. You were in the privy, right?
I've heard that before. Well, yeah, where else would I be?
Let me serve myself up some.
You questioning me like I'm visiting other women?
For their cooking, I would get awfully jealous.
I mean, old lady Mary, she makes good biscuits.
You are forbidden from going to old lady Mary's house ever again.
But you even said she's the sweetest old lady.
But you just complimented her biscuits.
But they're good.
You're only allowed to eat my biscuits.
Okay. I guess she can pay me in money for mending her fence then.
This will be good.
I'm gonna take some crackers.
Yep, and we have crackers. Ron made these crackers.
And one more.
Fantastic. This thing's awfully big. Let me move it off to the side, maybe. Here we go.
Well, there you go. Now you can see us.
Keeping the lid on it so it stays warm.
And today we're going to answer some questions
Yes.
after we eat. And
Or while we eat.
we have a few random stuff to talk about. But
like usual, right?
so anyways, I'll go ahead and we'll bless the food and then we'll taste it. How about that?
Okay, thank you, Ron.
All right. Lord, thank you for this food. Thank you for our beautiful little home and for this beautiful woman next to me. And just be with everybody and help us have a good rest of the day. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, Ron.
You're welcome. I'm going in. Oh, okay. I like rice when it's in soup.
Me too.
I love rice, but when it's in soup, it's just so much better.
It works.
I don't know why.
This is such simple, just healthy food, and I love it.
That's good.
You know, the older I get, the more I like simpler foods for some reason. I don't like salty food anymore. I don't like complicated food. I just want simple, healthy food. Okay, Ron's not even talking.
That's really good.
It is really good. And this is from 1828. So just under 200-year-old chicken rice soup.
Now you wouldn't think nutmeg in a soup would be good, but it works.
It works.
And it's not overpowering, it doesn't hit you in the face, but it's just enough there. Like, it makes me feel like it's November. It makes me feel like it's holiday season coming up.
Oh, and it's a hot soup too, so it's just so comfortable. Comforting and cozy on a cold November day.
It just reminds me of the holidays. I mean, back then they liked nutmeg year round, but today we associate it with eggnog and the holidays, so it's putting me in a holiday mood now.
You know what? I don't even taste the nutmeg, to be honest with you.
Just the essence of it. That's really good.
Yeah. People might be wondering, is it mushy? Is the rice mushy?
No.
Yeah, it's not really. I mean, I guess it's a little soft, but it's a soup. A soup is soft, right?
I wouldn't change anything about this.
I like it. You know, if you're rich and you can afford it, maybe squeeze in some lemon juice.
And a dollop of butter or something for...
Oh, maybe.
But
yeah.
It doesn't need it. It's really good.
Yeah, it's really good. We're going to have a hard time talking.
I'm really hungry.
Yeah.
So we've been working out at the land. Been working the land.
That's right. For those of you that don't know, we finally got 34 acres of land.
Yep.
And we're slowly, very slowly, building a house on it. It's going to be our forever homestead. This is a starter house. That's going to be our forever home. And we're going to build it in 1820 style. And we're going to keep you updated every so often on the progress of it. So far, I mean, the beginning when you build a house is always so slow.
Dig a well, build a road, do foundation.
Yeah.
Then you can start hammering and nailing.
Yeah, that kind of stuff takes many months and it's not very...
Oh, and planning. A lot of planning.
Sexy? Yeah, and planning, you know, and getting building permits and things like that, so... Oh, he likes that.
This is America, we don't do building permits. Our land, we do what we want.
No, we need building permits. Stop. You stop it.
Alright, where's the ladle?
It's back there.
So anyways, I've been digging some holes. First little project is to build a little outbuilding, a little barn, if you will, so we can keep all of our tools and our equipment for while we're working on the house.
Yep, and then we're gonna build an outhouse.
An outhouse is next. I'm actually gonna dig that the next time I go out there, dig the hole for that.
And then the next project is the summer kitchen.
Yep.
That's gonna come before the actual house, the summer kitchen. And then after that comes the actual house. So obviously this project is going to take a very long amount of time. So,
but once we start actually on the house itself, it should be 6 months tops. Hammer nails real fast.
Once we start on the house.
Yeah, that's the part I'm ready for. This other stuff, it's just...
So...
taking time. I'm sorry, I had a burp coming. This other stuff, it's just taking time.
So from now till the very end, it'll probably be a year before our house is done. Maybe a year and a half. Which is normal for building a house. So just please be patient with us.
Especially when you're doing it by yourself and you're working.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And you got 15 different irons in the fire like we do. Yeah. But we'll just keep on keeping on.
Keep on swimming.
I love this.
This is just wholesome, good, healthy food.
We got this, I forget what Candy calls it, but if you like holiday decor like this, you can go over to her channel at Cabin Crafts and see how to make this and other neat crafts from our time period and before and after.
She made this on the camera, on video, and she gave it to us afterwards. This is a Colonial Williamsburg style spray? I think that's what they call it. I'm not 100% sure. But Colonial Williamsburg style, they put it outside on the front door.
Hanging on your door if you have room.
Stair railing.
Even a centerpiece would be pretty if you got room for it. We didn't have room, so we hung it. But it's got cranberries and oranges and greenery and some kind of other leaves on it.
Right.
Sprigs.
So, it's, if you put it outside, that is a very 1930s thing to do.
Yep.
If you put it inside, if you're having a feast day, in the middle of a table, that is period correct for the 18th centuries and the 17th centuries and the 19th centuries, actually. But when you go to Colonial Williamsburg and you see how they have them hanging outside on the doors, that is a Colonial Williamsburg invention. That's something that they did. They started it, and I think it was in the 1930s. So back in our time period and earlier, you would not have put fruit outside because bugs would have eaten it, and it's just too valuable and expensive for you to have done that. But they did have oranges in Virginia. I mean, I get that all the time. People say, oh, how would they have gotten oranges if you didn't live in the deep south? How would you have gotten oranges if you lived in England?
On a boat.
On a boat. It's the exact same today as it was back then. People just shipped it.
Yeah. Some oranges come up the Mississippi still today, or they come by truck.
Yeah.
Just depends on how much you want to pay to get it there fast enough.
Yeah. Chances are you live in a place that does not grow oranges, so when you go to the store, or lemons and limes, when you go to the store, that is shipped up to you. But anyway, so period correct if it's inside, not period correct if you put it outside. Period correct for the 20th century.
Yeah, it's fun and it's pretty.
Yeah, and Candy does explain that in her video too. She says it's a Colonial Williamsburg invention from the 20s or the 30s, something like that.
I like it. It's very nice looking.
I love it too.
It's festive, it's colorful, it smells good.
Yeah.
It smells citrusy.
You know, and they would do that, like bringing in greenery to decorate your home for the colder months is a tradition that goes back thousands of years.
Before they did Christmas trees, they'd just decorate with the branches.
Yeah, with greenery. They would even put little hollies in the window. They would paste it in the window with beeswax. It's just to bring some color and some joy into your life during otherwise pretty gray and brown colored months of the year.
And Christmas trees are a German thing.
Yeah, and yeah, the trees themselves are a German thing.
And then they start showing up in America around, say, the 1830s, right before the Civil War. More immigrants started coming to America, and they brought their traditions, and people just fancied them and thought, that's a pretty cool idea, you know? You make your house smell good with the, you know, they didn't have artificial trees back then, so you smell the pine or cedar or whatever, and it's pretty to look at until it turns brown or catches on fire.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure happened. Somebody probably wasn't very careful and they put it too close to the fire, and then cedar trees and stuff, they go up instantly, so they're dangerous.
Christmas trees in America did start sometime pre-1830. I mean, obviously we don't know exactly when, but it's a German tradition.
So probably in their little communities.
There were a lot of German immigrants in the United States during this time period. And often what they would do is they would do chain immigration. So some of their family would come, they would settle on, back then you could get 500 acres.
Must be nice.
Nowadays, oh my gosh, that you'd be a very wealthy landowner if you could get that. Back then, I've seen some little shanty houses from like the 18th century that were sitting on 500 acres.
Wow.
It's hard to wrap our minds around that, but there was so much land here. You could be land rich and cash poor, easy. So the first generation would come over, and then more family would come over. And so they would all kind of confine themselves in this closed space, and they would keep to themselves, and they would keep their own culture and their own traditions to themselves. Now, as far as when the Christmas tree spread out of German families, Queen Victoria popularized a lot of traditions that we now have. She made white wedding dresses popular. So before then, you could just wear your best dress on your wedding. A lot of people chose to wear white or silver because it's pure and it was expensive. I mean, you don't go working in a white dress, so obviously that's fancy. But she also made Christmas trees popular. She, back then, Christmas trees, at least in England when they did it, it was little tiny trees that they would put on a table. And they would usually put up the tree only a day or two before Christmas.
Wow, there's a lot of people I know would not do that.
Right.
The day after Halloween, they were putting their trees up.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Are you one of them people? Do you put your tree up on November 1st or November 27th, the day after Thanksgiving?
I put mine up the day after Thanksgiving.
Me too.
So let's answer some questions.
Oh yeah, we got some questions here.
Yep, so we did one question and answers video, gosh, maybe a year ago.
Last October, 2021.
Yeah, just answering really random questions. You guys ask us a lot.
Now some of these are repeats because they're popular questions, and back then we didn't even have 100,000 people yet, and now we've got, what, 780,000 followers almost? And thank you, by the way.
Thank you.
And thank you here on Frontier Patriot. We're almost at 45,000 people. That's what, like, almost 10% of early American, but I'll take it.
That's a lot of people watching us eat chicken soup. Thanks,
Yeah.
guys.
Okay, number one, most popular question. Are you and Ron a real couple? I don't know. Show them your hand.
This is my engagement ring.
That's right.
I really, in real life, put up with this man's farts
That's right.
and his dirty laundry
Dirty laundry.
and everything.
I do my own laundry.
Yeah.
I even do your laundry sometimes. I put up with this woman.
Yeah, in real life, he does put up with me.
All right, question number 2. This might gross some people out, but it's a ridiculous question.
And we get it a lot.
So I'm just gonna answer it. Where do you go to the bathroom? Where do you think? A bathroom.
A hole.
A hole in the ground.
A hole.
If we're out in the woods, we go to the bathroom. I might pick a tree, but if we're here home at the cabin, an outhouse. Come on.
An outhouse.
Think about it. There's no master bathroom with a jacuzzi in here, or a bidet where squirt your butt.
If there is, you've been hiding that from me, and I'll be very bitter when I find it.
Get out here and get the hose.
Right? Get the horse trough.
Oh gosh. How do you guys do laundry? Well, we did a video back in the spring. I forget what it's titled as, but the thumbnail is pretty self-explanatory.
Something
Justine,
like doing laundry in the 1820s.
something like that. It's got a lot of views. Just scroll back until you see Justine with some laundry in her hand, and so that's a good one.
I do actually have 2 videos on my channel about doing laundry.
Oh yeah, you got one where you take the
Yeah, an old
urine,
one.
and that's how they used to make bleach. You get ammonia out of fermented urine.
I promise I don't actually use fermented urine.
It's apple juice.
I promise I don't.
What did you use? Was it vinegar?
It was vinegar. In that video, it was actually really dark apple cider vinegar.
Oh, I wasn't around then. That was before my time.
Yep, that was before I knew Ron.
That was before she knew me.
The before times.
Before times. Alright. Number 3, what is your horse's name? Mocha, if it's the one I'm thinking you're thinking about.
In
That's-
the intro video?
Yeah, Mocha. Her name is Mocha. She is a quarter horse. And she's a big girl. But she's nice. She's
She
very
don't
cool.
look big because you're so big.
But she's a big girl though. She's probably 16 hands, I guess.
Oh, okay.
That's how you measure horses, you hands.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see. Next one. I wrote these down pretty sloppily, so it's hard to read.
At least he can read.
I can't. To everybody out there, I do know how to read. I'm not a good reader, but I know how to read. I am educated.
Well, I have one. I'll tell you the question that I get asked honestly the most. Are you hot in that?
Oh, yeah.
I get that question all the time. And sometimes I'll be walking around in downtown St. Jen in the historic district in my period clothes. We actually do that very frequently. Like
We got asked this
twice
weekend.
a week.
And
Maybe
it was
3
nice
times.
out.
And I'll hear someone across the street say out loud to someone, "Oh, she must be hot in that." Or they just come up to me and say, "Oh, you must be so hot in that. How are you coping?" Okay, so are these clothes hot?
It's
Well, okay, so from a female point of view, the answer is definitely no. 1820s is no. I don't think that these clothes are warmer than modern clothes. I mean, obviously if you're going out in short shorts and a tank top, but I don't wear that kind of stuff anyway. But I just find that long dresses breathe very easy because the wind goes up your legs.
It's
feels
flowy.
nice. It's flowy. Whereas modern pants are just kind of these corsets around your skin and it holds the heat into you. So no, I'm actually not warm in these clothes. But if it's 100 degrees outside and I'm in front of a fire,
you're hot.
I could be naked and I'd be hot. So it's not the clothes; it's cooking in front of a fire. Now, what about for you, Ron?
For me,
he's always hot. Anyway.
It's the same. Now, if I'm wearing a coat or something, then it's gonna be warmer. But this vest here, this is linen, so it's really thin. The shirt's linen, so it breathes really well. Wintertime, I would say I'm just as warm as I am in modern clothes. As far as like putting a coat on modern times, so it's wool. Wool is really good, and it's not as bulky and poofy as a modern. And so I prefer. I'm to the point. I'm more comfortable wearing these clothes anywhere I go. I don't care if it's to the bank, if it's a gas station, if it's to the courthouse to pay property tax, if it's to McDonald's drive-thru, if you will. I don't care. I'll wear them. And that brings us to the other question. Are you guys similar to Amish? No. Amish do not wear clothes that we wear.
No, not at all.
Just because we wear old-fashioned clothes and they do old-fashioned things does not make it the same. If you look closely at Amish people, you'll see them wearing tennis shoes. They wear tennis shoes. Modern sneakers. Now the men will wear boots, but the women have on sneakers. I've seen some wearing some Skechers. They were blue and it had like what's their emblem, like a big S or whatever. I was like, she's wearing Skechers. Now I personally didn't know that, but I've learned things. The more we get into it and the more we research stuff, the Amish do not dress like us, and we don't dress like Amish.
No, we're not Amish.
So maybe at first glance you might think, oh look, there's reenactors, but they're not. They're just a simple and convenient, efficient way of life. Ours, there's nothing efficient or convenient about it.
Is that all of them?
No, it's not. That's about half. All right, the next one is Ron's dad, Ron Sr. No, he's not Ron Sr. He is Ron Jr. A lot of people said, hey, that's Ron Sr. in the last video he was in.
Oh.
But he's not the senior. He is the junior.
He's the second.
He's the second.
Ron's
and I'm the third. And I'm the third.
Yeah.
All right. Our next one. What got you into history? Well, that can be long, but I'll just keep it brief for me. Anyways, I always liked films that had history stuff in them. In high school, it was kind of boring. It was, here's some terms and definitions, memorize it, yada yada. It wasn't fun. There was no interaction. And that's what we try to do today. Because, yeah, it's fun being reenactors and going to events, but our job is to get other people into it. And, reaching out to kids, groups, or schools is a great way to get them enthusiastic about history, because your history classes are usually boring and dry unless you go on a field day or a trip somewhere to a site. So that's what we try to do. We try to make it fun, and no offense to the elderly people that do it, but if you want to get young people into it, you need some young people doing it to show that it's quote-unquote cool. So that's my theory on it. But I've always been into it from movies. I like the costumes, if you will, or the uniforms are cool. I love the weapons. I love flintlock weapons. I grew up with horses. We have a lot of horses on our farm, and horses are a big part of history, so that's my little connection. And Justine's been all over the world, so that right there, you're into history easily.
Yeah, what got me into history is my love of architecture. I absolutely love architecture, and I love historical architecture the most. So that's what got me into it. I mean, I grew up mainly in Germany, mainly in Heidelberg, Germany. And if anyone knows about that, it's a very, very old town with cobblestone streets, and I lived in the shadows of an old, I don't even know, 16th century castle.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
And so I grew up surrounded by these 18th and some 19th century buildings, and so I would turn my nose up at modern architecture, and I just started learning about the history of old houses. And well, once you learn about old houses, obviously you're going to learn about the history of kitchens. So once I started learning about the history of kitchens, I got curious, well, how do you use this, and how do you use that, and how do you use that, and I wanted to learn how to do it, and it just kind of went off from there.
Yeah. All right, we got one left here. I only picked the most, coolest ones. The other ones, you guys can go back and watch the older video from last year, because nothing's changed. We like hair metal. We like all kinds of food.
I like horror movies. I like heavy metal music. Ron likes hair metal.
I'm a Chevy guy. She's a Ford girl. You know, these are all old questions we've answered.
That's what I name a horse. Ford.
You're gonna name a horse Ford?
Yeah.
Well, it ain't gonna be no good.
Read the next question, man.
Alright.
Before you make me upset.
Next question is, what is your favorite spice to cook with or eat?
My favorite spice?
Spice.
Salt. I don't know.
Soul spice.
My favorite spice. I already know what you're gonna say, and you can't say it because it's a combination of 5 different spices, Ron.
Okay, fine.
He was gonna say curry.
I love curry.
Curry is a combination of spices.
Okay, what combination of spices or spice is your favorite to cook with? Like, what do you put in, whether it's historic or modern, what is something is your go-to? That's what I'm taking from their question anyways, when they say favorite. So we're going to play the game as modern, historic. What's your go-to?
Okay, modern?
What's your favorite spice that you...
My favorite...
I just need a pinch of this.
My favorite modern spice...
I know what you're going to say.
...is Vegeta seasoning. My grandma taught me how to use Vegeta seasoning. And I also... My secret ingredient... And I low-key think that you got this from me. And don't you say you didn't...
What?
I put curry powder...
No!
...in a lot of my food.
That comes from my grandma. My grandma Rayfield did that.
Oh, come on.
No, I'm serious. I even told you that. I said this tastes just like my grandma Rayfield's spaghetti.
Okay.
But grandma called it goulash. But it's the same thing. It's spaghetti.
So normally if I tell anyone my spaghetti recipe, I have to show up at their house later and kill them. But for you, I will give it to you. The secrets are Vegeta seasoning and curry powder in my spaghetti. And so I made that for Ron one day, thinking, oh yeah, he's gonna want to marry me after this. It worked. So it's the spaghetti, that's what did it. And he said, oh man, this is so good. And then later he said, you know, this is exactly how my grandma's spaghetti used to taste. And I said, did she add curry powder to it? And Ron said, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But she didn't use Vegeta. But that's okay.
Yeah, so there you go. That's my secret. Historic, I guess, cinnamon. I add cinnamon to a lot of things.
Mine is curry. I love curry. And cracked black pepper. I love freshly cracked black pepper. I put it on everything to where it's like black.
I didn't even think of saying that.
And then eat it. It's good for your immune system. You know, I never get the sniffles really because I eat so much pepper.
Ron and I are obsessed with black pepper.
I hate salt. I hate it.
Yeah, I hate salt too. I have a very bizarrely sensitive tongue to salt.
Like, if I get pretzels, I rub the salt off it. If once in a blue moon I get a margarita, no salt. I don't do it. I hate salt. I am not a fan of salt.
Those haven't been invented yet. What's a margarita? Is that the lady you've been seeing?
No, that was old lady Mary.
What?
She's 87 years old.
That makes it worse.
She needed her fence mended, and she gave me biscuits. I said, don't worry about payment, ma'am. I'll take some of them biscuits you just pulled out of the oven. Anyways. There was some more questions like, you know, where do you get your cookware from?
Oh.
Now that's a loaded question, but I'm gonna get some more of this. I'm hungry.
Okay, I did get an email yesterday or a couple days ago. A guy asked me where you get your iron cookware from, and like Ron said, boy, that's a loaded question.
Everywhere. Anywhere.
Every piece comes from a different place. You know, I can't give you the sources for every single piece. I think there's maybe 30.
One more?
No, I'm actually full. Because remember I had another bowl on camera?
Oh yeah, sorry.
So I think we have maybe like 30 or something different iron pieces in here, and they all come from different places. So Lord, that is a loaded question. So,
like these utensils, these come from Samson.
Yeah, these are from Samson.
SamsonHistorical.com. Some of our knives come from individual forges. Some of the other knives come from Townsend's. Some of the other stuff comes from Crazy Crow.
Candy gave this to us.
That's from Crazy Crow.
I always wanted one of these, and she overheard me, so she got it for us. It's for picking up logs, and oh, this is gonna make my life so much easier. But she got this from Crazy Crow, which is they have an online site. They also have a catalog.
Yep, all these places have catalogs. All of our redware and stuff and pottery, that comes from Candy Store, Sassafras Creek. Originals in St. Genevieve.
This came from an Amish antique store. in Arthur, Illinois, as well as a couple other things in here did.
A lot of things come from antique stores.
Yeah, a lot of things do.
All of our skillets, except for the spider skillet. Spider skillet came from Samson, was it?
Oh, yeah. The gridiron came from Etsy, a blacksmith on Etsy. Yeah. So go on Etsy and search gridiron, all one word. Because I think he's the only guy that makes them, so it'll be pretty easy for you to find it. Now, some of the things in here are genuine from the time period. Yep. This is actually 200 years old.
That's a real antique.
They don't make these anymore. So,
and it swivels up here.
Right. Right.
I like that.
And I don't remember where I got this, but it don't really matter because it was the only one they were selling. I think I got it from some kind of antique auction.
And we have another one. It's flat. It's a griddle, if you will, but it hangs.
Okay, I'll show that too. Yeah, and that's also 200 years old.
Yeah, both of these things are 200 plus years old.
It's pretty filthy. We haven't used it in a while, but this is 200 years old.
It's good for pancakes.
Yeah, sunny side up eggs.
Yeah.
Flat cakes. Things like that.
Neat piece.
Yeah, it's pretty. This one's heavy. The other one ain't too heavy.
And then, like the candlestick, that's cast iron. We found that in a antique mall with the fleur-de-lis on it. The forts, the big forts.
This is a friend of ours made this.
Yeah, Rick.
For us.
He made that for us. He lives up in Springfield, Illinois.
That's right.
I made the spit up there.
Yeah.
I'm not a blacksmith at all, but I just bent it with my bare hands.
Ron's dad made the fireplace crane.
And he made the things on the spit, what you call it?
Prongs.
Yeah. Prongs, yep. What else is in here? It's custom.
These skillets came from an antique store.
Those are from catalog.
This sausage stuffer came from an Amish antique store.
Oh yeah, same Amish store that the pot came from. I can't wait to use that, by the way. I've been waiting to use it.
Our toaster?
Yeah, toaster.
Oh, well, actually, this was a gift.
That's from Townsend's.
Yeah, I think it was from Townsend's, but a lady sent this to us. It's salamander. It's for toasting the tops of foods.
So you get it really red, and then you put it over something that you want to broil and make... a
crust.
Yeah, crust, like cheese. You want to get the bubbles and the brown on it. That's what you'd use.
Yep, so a lady sent this to us, and I believe she got from Samson.
Nope.
Oh, Townsend.
Townsend's.
And something that I know came from Samson.
They got stuff everywhere.
This is heavy. Is our toaster.
It's a little dirty too. We don't use it very often.
No. It's a little luxurious for me. You know, if I toast bread, I usually just put it on a skillet and flip it. But this came from Samson. And this is an actual reproduction of a 200-year-old one.
Yeah.
Spins around.
Very nice.
Yeah, you're supposed to spin it with your foot and it sits on the ground in front of the fireplace.
It's a kicker, you just kick it.
Yeah.
And I think that's about it for cooking utensils.
Yeah, I can't really think of...
The pewter spoons that we have and the bowl, that comes from ASL Pewter here in St. Genevieve.
Right, are from reenactments.
Yeah. The 10 came from a gentleman that we just met this past weekend.
Yeah, let me talk about that.
Over at the fort.
Okay, so we got...
I'm going to eat, you talk.
2 new tinware items at a reenactment that we went to yesterday. We got this tin pan here, and I can fit a whole chicken in this, but also you are supposed to bake bread in it. It's a civilian bread baking tin. He was also selling military ones where it was straight up and down on the side instead of having that curve.
For a regulation 2-pound loaf.
Yeah, a regulation 2-pound loaf. So we also had that, but we got the civilian one. And you could roast a chicken here, you could roast a pork tenderloin here with some potatoes around it. You could bake bread in here. You could do whatever you wanted.
You're making me hungry again. I'm still eating this.
He's hungry and he's eating.
Sounds good.
And then we also got this pot from him as well. And he makes all these things himself. And then we also got these 2 candlestick holders, which would be excellent for, you know, a bed chamber, like you're just walking from your bedroom to the bathroom or...
Yeah, and he's from Nebraska.
Right.
Long ways.
Oh yeah, I got his business card.
Yeah, we hope he comes back. He sounded intrigued about St. Genevieve. We told him all about it. We're like, we're right across the river because we were at the fort at this event. And he seemed pretty interested. So hopefully he comes back maybe for Pioneer Days or something. We'll see.
His name is Christian Hagman. And he makes custom tin works. He also does copper and brass items, which are lined in tin.
The copper stuff was beautiful.
Yeah, his copper stuff was gorgeous. We couldn't afford it, so we just got the poor man's tin.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I'm going to get comments, people saying...
That's not stainless steel.
That... aluminum.
It's not aluminum.
It's not aluminum. I always get those! Always get those! Or people will comment and say, oh, they didn't have aluminum back then, Justine. Like, oh, you caught me. Oh, man, thanks, guys. Like, oh, can't believe I used aluminum in the video. It's tin. I know it can be kind of hard to tell the difference between them.
But they had shiny things back then.
Yeah, they had shiny things back then. Because these things were brand new back then.
Mm-hmm.
So, Christian Hagman. And he has an email address, which I think we'll put in the video if you guys want to order something from him. And speaking of business cards, we've never shown this before, but we actually have our own business card. It's double-sided, so one side of it says Early American on it, and then the other side says Frontier Patriot. And Ron here, he designed this business card. We modeled it after actual business cards from the 18th and early 19th centuries. So it might look a little strange as far as modern business cards go, since the ones back then weren't designed to fit in a modern small wallet.
Right.
But you know, you're less likely to lose this thing.
And it's cool looking.
Yeah, it's cool. So
it's like a little brochure.
Right. So if you ever meet us in person, we'll give you one of our business cards.
Yeah.
What bowl are you on now? The second? The third bowl!
It's not fattening. Don't yell at me. It's nice. It's good.
No, it is actually...
This is nasty. I don't want it. Would you rather say that?
Oh, you're like one of those guys that goes to a restaurant, you eat all your food, and then you say, oh, I'm not paying for this.
Well, you don't want me to eat it.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay.
It is healthy for you. Chicken soup is healthy for you. There's nothing in here that's bad for you. It's wholesome, real food.
That's really good. I like that.
Yeah, it is really good. You know, a lot of these antique recipes, receipts, as they used to call it, are genuinely fabulous. I mean, they're great.
Fabulous.
Genuinely fabulous. I don't know what else to call it. They're just very delicious. I'm super happy with it.
Hey,
Hey, by the way...
I'm working on it. Wait. Computing. Veterans Day is coming up. This past weekend we did a event called Military Timeline to honor those vets. And I just want to say, it don't have to be Veterans Day to think of veterans, so any day can be Veterans Day. So be sure to think of vets because that's coming up this weekend. Like I said, doesn't have to be that day, but particularly on that day, definitely thank somebody. But,
thank you for your service.
But we did an event, and our friend Michael and Lee came with us, and we had a little bit of fun. We hung out with the World War II guys. They had some cool looking
tanks,
armored tank things, and it was pretty neat.
Yeah, I've never seen a horse that looks like that before. It was a little strange.
We played drums for the opening ceremony for everybody to march to. That was fun. I mean, it was a good time.
Yeah, it was a good time.
We always have fun supporting the military.
It's actually Ron's event. It was your idea to do the military timeline.
Yeah, 3 years ago. There wasn't much going on because of all the craziness in the world, you know. And I said, hey, let's try this, and it went off really good. And so we're still doing it. We did
3 years in a row.
The very first time we did it was on 4th of July, and then we decided to do it on Veterans Day as well.
Yep, so what we do is we gather together reenactors from all sorts of different time periods in America's war history.
So you got French and Indian War here in America, or Revolutionary War, War of 1812, the Civil War. Well, I'd like to get Spanish American and Mexican War, but we don't know anybody. So if you know anybody, and then we had World War One, World War II guys. We didn't have any Vietnam. We had a Persian Gulf guy, and I think that was the newest we had here.
And we had a couple Iraqi war things set out.
Well, that's what Doug was doing, Persian Gulf War.
Oh.
But in Iraq too.
Oh.
The 90s.
Oh, gosh.
90s Gulf War.
Yeah, so we pay homage to all the veterans, past and present.
Yep.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. And thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Because the longer we film, the more Ron's going to eat. And I'm getting a little bit worried about him spending all that time up in the privy. So we're going to say bye now. Thank you so much for watching, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
You take care. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.